What's up, everybody? Thank you guys for tuning in. Like always, hit that like button, subscribe to my channel. Thank you guys for already been subscribing to my channel. I appreciate you guys. It helped the channel grow. You know, it helps me bring all this wonderful fun stuff to you guys. Like I've been creating a lot of merchandise for you guys, a lot of little fun, creative, uh, original designs that I made through my Black Taurus digital artworks page. So go ahead, check it out. My shop is online now. The links, the link should be on my page, and also a part of my video, you will see like a little icon to show you like the shopping things and the different items that you can choose from. But go ahead, check it out. I believe you'll love it. Soon I will be getting some in myself, so I can show you guys how I look. You know, like my channel shirt that I had, if you guys remember. So yeah, go ahead, check it out. Also, make sure you follow me on all my socials too. I'm on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. I'm on the Twitter at Simcast Podcast or Simcast Podcast and Media. Go ahead, check me out or follow me there. Then also hit the notification bell too. So when I do post my videos or when I go live or premiere a video, you guys will be able to, uh, you know, you'll be able to do your super chats, because right now I have that open right now. So it's available. Also custom emojis too. So you can put into the chats, so a lot of things for you guys. So go ahead and become a member and go ahead and join the community. So also, become a patron too at Simcast Podcast slash patron.com. Some different tiers to choose from. A lot of behind the scenes videos I usually post there. Some different artworks and different things that I don't usually post on my channel. So that's pretty much a perk of you guys subscribing to that. So go ahead and make sure you become a member of that as well. Help support the channel. But yep, today's video, I will be talking about Xmen 97. Um, pretty much doing an overview of all the episodes. We have 4 episodes that aired so far. I did a little mini review on my page. It's posted now. Um, Pretty much talking about the premiere episode and also like the intro and everything. But that didn't really touch into all of the rest of the episodes. I finally watched the 4th episode, which is cool. So I like that. It was a part 1 episode. I got the episode down at the bottom so you can kind of see which episodes that passed. Spoilers for you guys that didn't watch it yet. I advise you, it's streaming now on Disney Plus. Go ahead and check it out. If you like me and you love the X-Men, or if you was a fan of the X-Men animated series, you will love this, because it's like uh, nostalgia on the TV. You know what I mean? It's like they bring you back to your childhood, back where you used to watch it Saturday mornings, and when you get out of school, and you know what I mean. So it like you brings you back to that time, and just to talk about the first episode. Um, to me, my X-Men, the premiere episode. Now, if you was like me, I was wondering, was they gonna stick with the same intro? At least the music, you know what I mean? Because that music is so iconic. We all know it, we all love it, you know. So when they did that premiere and they did that little break right before when they showed the little Marvel logo going into that intro, man, it brought me back to like a little kid. I'm sitting there so excited. And then not only did they do the music, they recreated the intro scene, you know what I mean? And they kind of fixed some of the little errors I seen online. They was talking about like at the end when all of the uh when the villains and the heroes clashing together. Some of them people was not in the show or not a part of that. So it's like they kind of fixed those characters and added some more people on there. And then they also I noticed too, if you've been watching the several episodes, they changed the title. The second episode, they added Magneto, you know what I mean? And then, spoiler ahead, with the situation with Storm. I'm gonna talk about that in a moment. Whatever happened with her, you see what changed with the intro. You know what I mean? Also, they added morph to the intro. You know, he was only in the first episode, or he premiered in the first episode of the animated series back in the day. But he was so much of a big character then, but he wasn't in the opening intro, not in the title sequence. Basically, he was in the I think, yeah, I believe he was in the sequence, but he wasn't in the title part of it. But yeah, so past the intro, talk about the first episode. You know, we got introduced to these characters back again. You know, we see that with the fall or the downfall from Professor X from the from the previous series. It kind of started from there after he got killed. We saw they went to go see Trask. I believe he had something to do, or he the one that killed Professor X. So we saw that. We see that they still work. He's still working with the Sentinels. The Sentinels are still around. We see that they got some kind of tech that kind of almost like the Sentinel tech that they have that they was using in the first episode. You know, so we got introduced to that. A lot of people online and a lot of critics and things, they've been saying like uh they kept saying that X-Men is woke, or that the show did something, you know what I mean? But it's like, if you're a fan of X-Men and even Marvel or even Stan Lee, right? Stan Lee, his whole objective with the X-Men is like a parallel to racism in the world. You know what I mean? The mutants are different, and because they are different, they are getting treated different. You know what I mean? By regular society. They feel like if they're different, then there's something wrong. They're dangerous and everything like that. Now we deal with that pretty much every day, or in society where it's racism, or because of you different, because of the color of your skin, because of your sexual orientation, or all of those things, you get judged by it, or people start calling you dangerous, or talking about you, basically being racist towards you, which is wrong. So for people to say that the X-Men show or the X-Men is too woke and all of that, it's like they've been like this. You know what I mean? It's like this is the reason why X-Men has so many fans, because a lot of us fans are different. You know what I mean? We are our own individuals. You know what I mean? We go by our own beats of our drums. You know what I mean? We all fans of collectively like that. Where, well, I feel that you know watching the X-Men and knowing the story about them, that you can relate to it, especially like myself being a black man, I can relate to the racism and the society situation that the X-Men go through, because I go through it myself, or I've seen it and know about it as well. So so I know people gonna have their opinions, critics gonna say what they say, but that's all part of their job, what they do. So yeah. Then also, just to touch on that, then people had a problem, with Gambit, you know what I mean, by him having a crop top on. But we all know this is supposed to be the 90s. A lot of 90s males, a lot of 90s men, masculine men, wore crop tops. You know what I mean? Apollo Creed in Rocky, he wore a crop top. You know what I mean? Will Smith on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, he had one on. And I've seen some in a couple other movies that I used to watch. You know what I mean? So people just always have something to say, or have or something to criticize about. But it doesn't take nothing away from us fans. And I hope you guys that didn't get a chance to watch it, don't listen to the critics. Don't listen to to the reviews and things like that. Watch it yourself, and then you'll see, and you'll be able to be the judge of your own. You know what I mean? So that's just a little pointer for you. But yeah, so like I said, we saw all that in the first episode, and going into the second, where Magneto pretty much took over the state, took over for Professor X. He left him everything, so pretty much he's in charge. You know what I mean? We all know uh, Cyclops. He didn't like it because he's always been the leader. You know what I mean? He didn't want to have to take orders, especially from Magneto of all people. You know what I mean? We know the series. We saw what conflict and you know what I mean, and what they all went through with Magneto. So they have history there. So it's only natural that these guys don't, you know, are questioning Magneto's motive, don't know what he's up to. You know what I mean? Pretty much got their eye on him. You know what I mean? And you know, and that kind of leads to his story or his little side story with Magneto, where um, you know, because of his past crimes and because of the big figure that he is representing, like the villains, pretty much. He's representing everybody that went against the humans, despite trying to be like Professor X, where you trying to, you know, coexist with each other. Magneto took another approach, you know what I mean, and he resisted a lot. So he had a lot of crimes and a lot of things that he had to answer to. So, um, so we see, you know, the government steps in. You know, the X-Men already feel a certain way about working with these people, but you know, they work with them and still kind of, like I said, coexist with each other. You know what I mean? Part of the UN and everything like that. You know. Then also I see that they made Genosha, yeah, part of the UN, or made it like kind of official. And if you're familiar with Genosha on the first series of the back in the day, it's pretty much where the mutants were at, like almost like a, it was supposed to be like a paradise, or for them to be, you know, for their own kind of city type of thing. But it was a storyline where pretty much the mutants were slaves and had to build all of this stuff for them. And, you know, and it was a whole little thing about that. So it's good that they put the little nod in there and they still keep up with the stories from, you know, from back then. Because if you're a fan, you know, you love continuity, you know what I mean, like I do. So you know, you like the stories that carry on and then make sense, you know what I mean? So, but yeah, so back to Magneto, you know, he had to answer for his crimes. He pretty much turning himself in, and kind of proving to everybody as well as the X-Men that I can be trusted. You know, I've changed. You know, I still have the same um, ideals and things like that, but I'm gonna take the other approach because Charles is not here. You know, Professor X is not here, his friend. So he feels like he owe it to his friend to kind of keep himself in check a little bit. So, but as we see, that didn't go right. Sentinels attack. Now the X-Men had to step in, and then on top of that, Magneto had to help and step in too, and show the humans and show the government that, listen, we on the same side. We might not agree, but I'm here to protect my mutant rights, and you know, as well as keeping everything safe. So, so yeah, so that was like kind of his story, or his side story, going through the episodes of them trying to trusting him, seeing what his motives are and everything. And then, yeah, in that second episode, like I said, the episode's at the bottom. Mutant Liberation begins. You know, that was that episode. And then we also, at the end of that one, we got um spoilers for you guys that haven't saw it. Uh, we saw two Jean Greys. Whoa, where did that come from? You know, so the whole thing or the whole episode was trying to figure out, you know, like I said, we saw that at the end of the second episode, going into the third, the whole episode was trying to figure out which gene is the right gene. You know, who is the one that fought on the side along with fought alongside the X-Men all this time? Who is the one that married Scott? You know what I mean? Which gene is which? Because you see, they had both shared memories. They both had still had the same personality, the same you know, same everything. It pretty much the same person. But it was something else going on behind the scenes that we saw, where it was revealed that Mr. Sinister, he pretty much cloned Jean, you know, from from back then, when we saw him on the last series, you know, he always targeted the X-Men and would always try to clone them, taking their genes and trying to uh, either enhance himself or have control over them. Because he, you know, he used to be a scientist. He did all these experiments to himself and pretty much turned himself into this. So he was always target the X-Men. Now you know the big storyline in the X-Men, the animated series back then, was with Morph. You know, when Morph died, I think he brought Morph back to life, but he wasn't the same. But he had control over him, and I believe because I just watched it recently, and I believe he ended up stopping the mind control, and they ended up either getting Morph back or something else. I can't remember. Uh, let me know in the comments about that storyline. If you know if you sure about it, I'm not sure about that Morph storyline. Did it wrap up with him not dying again, or him still being alive? Let me know in the comments. But yeah, so like I said, we're trying to figure out which one is which with Jean. Then at the same time, Mr. Sinister comes in. You know, she just had the baby, Nathan. We all know that's Cable in the future. You know, he had his own storyline too back then, in the animated series where he came from the future like Bishop. And uh and I can't remember what did he come for, but I think he was there to stop Bishop, I think, or something like that. But he was from the future. He was their son. So we see Mr. Sinister is trying to get his hands on a child, and try to, I guess, uh, control him or have some kind of, yeah, have some kind of control over this mutant, because they said because it's Jean's baby and it's also Cyclops' baby that this is going to be a powerful mutant. So he trying to control it. So he gets the Jean copy to get her to come over there where he's at, or pretty much it's like he unlocked whatever he had controlling her, and now we see the big reveal. She's the Goblin Queen. You know, I'm not familiar with that character, but I know it has something to do with Mr. Sinister. But this is her. This was her introduction. I've seen a lot online saying that, you know, it was almost like a rush introduction, that they kind of like didn't they almost explain things a little bit, but just made her the Goblin Queen. You know what I mean? And then we saw this cool scene, or this fight scene where it was like almost like they was in hell or something, of where all these demons and all these monsters and all of this crazy stuff was happening in the mansion, and the big old fight scene and stuff. It was cool to see. I loved it. Then we see the real Jean, or the Jean that was there with them the whole time. She stops it, helps them, comes back, you know, try to get things back to normal. But then we see that she still has a connection with the copy Jean. You know, they go through each other memories. They unlock and show things like where she first met the professor, how she first unlocked her powers, and things like that. But at the same time, they still trying to figure out who is who. You know, who was the Phoenix? Who was that? Who was this? You know what I mean? So in the end, um, the copy Jean, you know, she ended up uh, fighting off the Mr. Sinister. You know, even though she was fighting against them after they went and looked for the baby and everything, it was like, I guess the other Jean had a more strong hold on her by showing her these memories and showing everything that you have. You know what I mean? The birth of the baby and all of that. So it helped. So now she was able to fight off Mr. Sinister. He disappeared. Don't know what happened to him. You know, I know we're gonna end up seeing him later on down the line, but in the end, the Jean, the copy Jean, she adopted the name Madeline Pryor. Now I'm familiar with her in the comics a little bit. If you guys are too, let me know in the comments. But yeah, and that's another thing, because of the X-Men and because of the different comics and things, right? It's a lot of storylines that they had in the comic books. Sometimes it carried on into the animated series and things, but sometimes they have to either skip stuff, rush it a little bit, or kind of do it their own way, but still kind of get the plot out and get the story to us. So, like I said, the Madeline Pryor, she just got that name out of a hat. You know what I mean? It's like we didn't get the explanation that we should have got a little bit more, but I guess they figured because we supposed to know or we know of these characters and stuff that it just they had to put that out there just for the plot. You know what I mean? Moving forward. So now we have this character established. So when we start doing more with these characters, then we already understand what's happening. So that was cool right there. So that it ended right there for that third episode of Fire Made Flesh. So, and then in the midst of all of that, let's talk about Storm. Now, we all know Storm has always been a part of the X-Men. She's always been one of the original members and everything like that, right? I've seen a lot of things online where people was kind of mad. Spoilers for you guys that didn't see this. Well, they took Storm powers away on the show. You know what I mean? And people was trying to have problems with that, saying that dang, they took her powers and this is not Storm. They even talked about her mohawk. But like I always say, man, is that a lot of times characters, sometimes they change, right? They might change a hairstyle, they might change the outfit a little bit, a little tweak here and there, but in the end, we still have that core character. You know what I mean? As long as we got that core character, we still have Storm, a mohawk, or you know what I mean, or something like that. It wouldn't take away from that character. She's been wearing mohawks all throughout the comics, and I believe even I think the X-Men, the live action movie, the Apocalypse movie. I think that Storm they had on there, uh, she had a mohawk or something like that. You know what I mean? So I don't think nothing is wrong with that. You know what I mean? If anything, they kind of making it more edgier or keeping up with the times. It's the 90s. People was wearing all these hairstyles. You know what I mean? So, and then with the power situation, I believe her powers had got taken in the comics before. You know what I mean? So I'm sure they taking the plot from you know what I mean from the comics, or they got the story from somewhere. They just not make it up and kind of mess with the X-Men lore. I don't think they would do that. You know what I mean? There's too many of us fans out here that kind of know the lore of X-Men and know how things go that I don't think they will pull that on us. You know what I mean? So, but again, it's just people having their own opinion. They're entitled to it. Critics going to be critics. That's what they do. But it doesn't take away from us fans watching the show and enjoying the characters. But unfortunately, yeah, she lost her powers. Um, it was some tech that they was using, or one of the uh, one of the soldiers or people that was after the mutants. They was using some kind of tech, and it like blasted her and took her powers away. And then, going into this fourth episode, which is a part one which is a part one, I think, of a three-parter. But within this three-parter, it started off with it was called Nintendo. It was like it started off with the story. Uh, yeah, it started off the story with Jubilee. You know, we see, it's her 18th birthday. Um, she's trying to celebrate like a teenager will do. You know what I mean? And then we all know how Jubilee is. She's always just that fun-loving teen. You know what I mean? That typical teen from the 90s that love video games, that love hanging out at the mall, love kicking it. You know what I mean? So by her being that age and she turning 18, she just wanted to be the kid and do the same. But as we know, she's part of the X-Men. Magneto's so serious that he felt like, uh, we don't have time for that kind of stuff right now. You know what I mean? She want to go to the arcade and stuff like that. So part of her story, um, we we see her and yeah, we see her and the guy that we got introduced to in the first episode. I can't remember his name right now, which is funny, but I'm gonna have it in the box somewhere that we'll see what his name is. But this guy, and I have to look more into that character too, because he got certain powers. He's not showing all of his powers either. He's just showing glimpses of it. So I got to go back and see who he actually is. But because he's like the same age as Jubilee, they hanging with each other. They go back to her room. They see some kind of video game system. Looks like the Sega Master System. You know what I mean? It looked like the old Sega system, but it was called Nintendo. Play off words. But they got sucked into the game. Got introduced back to Mojo. He's one of those characters that we saw before, where he feeds off of people's energy, and pretty much he's like a show host. You know what I mean? He's all about the ratings. He's always creating shows and doing things, and with these shows and with these alternate realities for these people, he's taking their energy. You know what I mean? Their fear and all of this stuff. So it's like he put them into situations to feed off of them. So we saw this character before. We got introduced to him in this episode. Like I said, love the callbacks. You know what I mean? So we see Jubilee. She's trying to figure out how to get out of here. She keep going through her little memories and things that she remember. Like I said, mentioned Genosha earlier. She remembered the time that she was there, and just all these things. But what was cool is that we saw the OG Jubilee, and I believe it was voiced by the OG actor or the actress. Because well, if you guys didn't know, what this actress that plays Jubilee, I believe she's an Asian actress that they felt like they wanted to be more in line to the character, because I believe she's an Asian character in the comics. The first time around, we didn't have that. So they figured they want to be more authentic a little bit, which is cool. Nothing wrong with that. So yeah, we see the OG Jubilee. She's there to kind of, give herself some help, some advice. Let her know, Magneto's pretty much right that you got to start taking little things more serious. You know what I mean? That even though you're a teen and you're 18 and you're trying to live life, you still got to take it serious as well, especially because, you're part of the X-Men. Look at what's going on around you. You kind of got to take things a little serious. You know what I mean? And then like the OG Jubilee was showing her, a different way of she was using her powers, and it excited the other OG of it, or the other Jubilee. Like, oh, I can do that too. Yeah. Figured if you take things more serious or take time to do something, you might be able to harness more of your powers and be more creative with it. You know what I mean? So that was cool that we had a little moment with them. So they helped her figure out how to get out the game. So they ended up defeating Mojo, and pretty much beat him. But like I said, that was like part of the episode. It was like a little snippet of the episode. Just like I think they might go back to that story probably, and maybe in the second part or third part. But right after that, then we get Life Death Part 1. That's what the title ended up saying, like in the middle of the episode. So then we go back to Storm, you know, previous where when she left, because she left the mansion. She left the mansion because of her power. She felt like, she's not an X-Man, you know what I mean? So she just went off on her own to pretty much find herself or kind of get away from it all. In the midst of that, we see that she meets Forge. We all know Forge from back in the day. He's a tech guru, genius. I believe he's the one that created the tech that got the time traveling tech. They got Bishop going back and forth, and then also I think it was a storyline where he helped Wolverine go back into the past and the future and everything like that too. And then also, I think we saw him in live action too. He was in one of the X-Men movies, either the Apocalypse movie or the past or the I think it was the Apocalypse movie where they were showing things that was happening and affecting the past and stuff like that or the future. So I think they have Forge in there, or it might have just been Bishop though. Correct me if I'm wrong. Let me know in the comments. But uh, Forge, he was a good friend of Professor X, so he felt like he wanted to help Storm. You know what I mean? Kind of help her on her way, kind of adapt to what her situation is, and then by him being a tech specialist and a genius, he figured that he can kind of help her and figure out to get her powers back. So we see them little moments they had uh, in the cabin talking with each other and just pretty much telling each other their story. He knows her. Uh, I see that he kind of taking a liking for her, little flirting going on, you know. So he kept calling her princess or queen. That it doesn't matter if you don't have powers or not. You still are this. You know what I mean? You still are of value as a person. You know what I mean? So just because she don't have the powers, it doesn't take nothing away from her. But as a mutant, you feel like that's your identity. You know what I mean? It's like somebody taking my color away from me. It's like that's part of who I am. You know what I mean? So I understand that and I get it. But it was also revealed too, which was messed up, that I believe it was his tech that he had created, or one of his ideas that the government took and pretty much weaponized it. That's same story that happens all the time. Somebody creates something, somebody take it, either do bad with it or just steal your idea. And this is one of those things that they took his idea and weaponized it, and that's what happened. So she was upset about it because she figured that he had her in here for false pretense. You know what I mean? Like kind of lied to her pretty much. But he assured her that everything was cool and that he can help. We see he took on a horseback ride to let her feel the wind and everything and the air and stuff like that, which was cool. You know what I mean? But when he tried to give her powers back, she couldn't control the weather. She couldn't do anything like she was doing before, which was kind of sad because, like I said, by you being a mutant and your powers are taken from you. Like I said, it's like taking yourself, it's taking your identity from you, and then it's like you start questioning yourself and what am I going to do, being normal or as a mutant that don't have powers. You know what I mean? So yeah. So like I said, and for people to think that all of a sudden the X-Men are woke and problems with this, but they always tackle issues like this, racism, you know, inner inner self and beauty and all of these kind of things that we deal with in life and in society. That's problems. You know what I mean? We individually deal with things ourselves that you can relate to these characters because they are, even though they're mutant, they are human too. You know what I mean? They still have a heart, they still have feelings, and they still go through stuff. You know what I mean? So yeah. So so yeah. So that was pretty much. um, how that episode went. Just stay locked into my channel because I will be posting reviews, any updates and things like that to my channel. So you guys will still be up on it. You know, if anything happens or anything changes, I'll make sure I let you guys know. But yeah, but that was, like I said, that was pretty much that episode. You know, as I was watching it after the first part with Jubilee, it was like going into the Storm story. It ended kind of fast. I thought the episode was still going, but that's part one. You know what I mean? So just got you hooked for a little bit, and hope you tune in next time, which I know I will. But yeah, but that kind of wraps up, you know, the first four episodes, pretty much in a nutshell. You know what I mean? And I would like to know what you guys think, and let me know in the comments of how you've been enjoying this season and these episodes so far. You know what I mean? Like, how have they been getting it right with these characters? You know what I mean? Are they still in line with the what we know as fans from the old animated series, and also mixing with the current? You know what I mean? I see that the animation is cool too, because it still gives you that old feel with a new look. You know what I mean? And I love that. You know, I see that like with like in the DCU where and with they animated movies, they do that a lot where they change the animation style that kind of look like a like vintage comic or vintage anime almost a little bit, where we get a classic movie. You know what I mean? But with modern situations and modern characters. So nothing wrong with that. That pretty much wraps up everything. Like I said, I've been enjoying the X-Men '97. I've been fanning out since the first episode. Since I first saw the intro, I've just been so excited. I just can't wait to see the episodes. I can't wait to see what they do with these characters. And like I said, with the opening sequence where they keep changing the title, and it's like they kind of showing you what's going to happen in other episodes. Like I see the Phoenix in there, and hopefully they go back to that story and like give us more of it. You know what I mean? Because I love they did the Phoenix storyline in the old animated series the first time. You know, I had the comic books at the time that they did the story right. You know, I hated that even though they did the movie, The Dark Phoenix, um, it could have been better, but you know, I liked it though. But hopefully, we might get a chance to see that again, live action, and maybe they might give us the story like we had in the animated series. Because if they go by that way, then I believe it would do very well, because they did good at bringing this character and showing the origins, how she became, and all of that. You know, and I was always a fan of the Phoenix. Like I said, I had the comics, had the trading cards back in the day, so pretty cool. But yeah, what are your thoughts about that too? Who are you looking forward to see in the series? You know what I mean? I see they didn't show Mystique yet. I know she's there. She's going to be there. And for some reason, I have a feeling that she may be that government official that they working with in the White House, that lady. Um, I got a feeling because I know that she Mystique be shape shifting, and a lot of times she's always working in the government, like pretty much as a plant, as being a mutant amongst them, knowing their secrets, knowing what's going to happen. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, but let me know in the comments, who do you want to see? Who do you think is going to come and make an appearance? Let me know. But that is it for me. Another video down, another video done. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. I thank you guys. Like I said, it helps my channel grow. It helps me put out all this content for you guys. Also, I've been working on like rebuilding where I film at. You know, I only have this little bit that I have back here, but I'm gonna make it more um, more studio-ish. You know what I mean? Like the more to make it have more posters and more pictures and more things hanging up, you know, because I'm gonna be doing more and more videos and things. You know, like I said, by the channel growing, it's helping me you know, get more equipment and things like that, and pretty much giving you guys the quality videos that you guys love. So I thank you guys. So until next time, hit that like button, subscribe to my channel. Peace.